Good afternoon and welcome to the Henry County Commissioners Meeting, August 28th, 2024. If you would, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a short prayer. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to gather here on this beautiful evening in order to conduct the business of Henry County. Please guide us in our decisions and help us through this day. In your name we pray, amen. Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the minutes of the last meeting?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the claims?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the payroll?
Make a motion, accept payroll as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. We have a treasurer's monthly report for July of 2024. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to accept it as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. We have a food and beverage claim. The first claim is for Memorial Park, the large shelter house, affidavit number 2016-80, invoice 240806-1 for $15,000.
Make a motion to accept and approve it.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. We have a second food and beverage claim for BW Construction, the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, invoice number 2023111 for $5,890.91.
Make a motion to approve that one.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I had an opportunity to visit with Penny York from the EDC, and she stated that Corey nor her would be here for an update this evening. And I don't believe we have a chamber update. And Angela Cox was not able to be here at this time. She may be here later. Looking for other department heads. Braden, do you have anything for us? We can do it now. I don't have copies.
In case you have questions, someone here with me is a lot smarter than me, can hopefully answer some questions on this.
Wow. You actually said that in public.
Not sure if you guys had time to, review, uh, these contracts. But what we're looking for is approvals, to be able to move forward, with these contracts. One of them is for Bridge 162, the deck replacement. And this contract would be, for the design phase of that bridge. And then the other one, which apologize, I didn't bring a copy for all of you, but it is for the, sign replacement. And this contract is for the, inspections to make sure that those signs were, properly installed, according to the plans.
Joel, you've reviewed all of these contracts?
The sign contract is for Fall Creek, Harrison, Greensboro, and Wayne Townships, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes, we have a copy of those, yes.
And on both of these, there is 80% reimbursement, for the sign replacement project as well as the, bridge deck replacement.
You said 80% reimbursement.
Correct.
I'll make the motion to approve both of these contracts.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
One other thing, thanks, Perry. One other thing would be, would like to, move forward with a bidding process as far as, purchase of new tandem axle dump trucks, for next year. And so would like to be able, I guess, asking your approvals to, move forward with getting bids on tandem axle dump trucks for next year. We have-
You know what I'm gonna ask you, don't you?
We currently have budgeted for next year two trucks for next year.
Okay.
I'll make the motion for you to move forward, getting bids.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian, do you have anything for us? Okay, thank you. Under new business, we have item number 1, Henry County Help Center, Travis Lyle.
Lisa, nurse part.
Thank you guys for hearing my request here. Tonight I'm requesting that,
Hi there. Now it's on. Sorry about that. Tonight, I'm here to request $250,000 from the Henry County Opioid Settlement Fund to start what we are calling the Henry County Help Center. We have a location down on Indiana that we scoped out, but we're not set in stone on any locations or anything, but this money would help buy the building and get it up and running. The Help Center would help with the opioid crisis that's going on now and the homelessness in Henry County by having a facility where all the current places that we have in Henry County can come together at once. We have a lot of resources out there. We just need one clearinghouse to get them all pushed through there. And then the Henry County Help Center would also help those who are falling through the cracks from these places, who have active drug addiction, mental health crisis, and other things going on in their life like that. This would give one facility where everybody could go to get the help, whether it be counseling, whether it's medication, whether it's their house caught fire, no matter what it was. And then all the resources of Henry County would also have free office space in there to use. So we could bring in, like Meridian Health said they could possibly send us somebody down. The health department, they could do the free health screenings down there. I spoke with Angela Cox about that. I spoke with, Social Security out of Muncie. That's going to be a bigger talk, but maybe coming down once a month to have an office here that we could provide for free to help folks when they're filing for disability or other things that they need to get. So that's what this program would be. Once we can get the initial funding, we qualify for several other grants from the state that would help us keep it running. And it would not need any more money from the county. Part of this proposal is that we would straight off the bat put all the property that if we go out of business on this nonprofit, the building would be sold or turned back over to the county. And if it's sold, the money would be turned back over to the county. That way there's no money's being taken out of there and not being used. So that was our proposal. Like I said, all of it's in the paper down here. If there's any more questions you guys have, I'd be glad to answer them for you.
So have you started the process to establish the not-for-profit?
Yes, I've got the paperwork over there, but first we had to get the funding so I can put it together, the Henry County, to where we got our funding from. Because that's part of our process, to put down, here's the funding, here's what we're going to do in the bylaws. And when we file it with the state, which it only takes about a 10-day process to get that filed.
So have you met with, and I'm asking this question because in the two projects that we have helped with some funding, there have been issues going along the way because it's a change of use of the property, whether it's zoning, architectural, whether sprinkler systems need to be put in. I mean, so have you looked at all of that?
Looked at all that, the
Do
building
you
that
have the
we're,
reports and stuff?
well, from the state fire marshals. Right off the bat, we wouldn't use this as overnight stays until we've got the state fire marshals to come in and give us our total report. So it would be used for office space, which is already zoned to that. It's zoned non-residential at the moment, the building that we're looking at, because it was a church. So the zoning is fine, the neighborhood's fine, and as far as getting all the work done inside of it, it's a matter of getting the state fire marshal to come back in, do a final inspection, and having, like you said, the sprinkler systems and the firewalls put in.
So who will be aboard on the 501c3?
On the board, we want to put, I've spoke to 8 to 10 different churches. Each of them said they would be glad to provide as a member to be on the board, as well as members like yourself or ex-people that's from politics, people who know what's going on in the community and know how to help us specifically. So we'd like to have around 10 to 12 board members. And those would be, like I said, from the local churches as well as local organizations that could provide the volunteers and the people to be on the board. And as well as you know, I'm the township trustee here. So one of the issues we have with helping the homeless, we spend a lot of money putting them up in the local hotel. And we spend a lot of money sending them to hospitals because they don't have their correct medications. We have driving them back and forth to Muncie. So my office can also contract with them because it'd be a non-religious affiliated nonprofit. We can contract with this nonprofit to help the indigent and the needy. So that would help the place run as well. And the other townships in Henry County could also contract with them.
Has the property you looked at been appraised?
The property was appraised at about around $300,000 for tax purposes. I'm hoping the church, I've spoke with the pastor of the church, and it's the Victory Turning Point. They have moved to the old Marsh building down there. So the church is sitting empty. I'm hoping that we could get a better deal on the property. And like I said, before we did any transactions, we'd have it appraised again because we don't want to get into a bad deal. Properties are all over the place, especially nonprofit properties. But we want to work hand in hand, not only with you guys, with anybody else associated with this that we can get to come in and help. Because like I said, this is nothing set in stone. We want to get this program going to bring in all the resources of Henry County, provide them a local place, an outlet. So if somebody needs help, no matter what it is, they can come to the help center and we can say, okay, maybe you qualify for the guest house. Maybe that's your best bet. Or we need to get you in counseling through Meridian Services, or we need to get you through to apply for disability. So whatever the case is, we can get them the help they need with the resources that they need, that's already out there. Is that better? Hi there. Yes, it might be this mic. It's getting feedback or something.
Microphones. Sorry, I made a
Travis,
note
you
about the
obviously,
microphone.
you obviously have a passion for this, and I certainly can appreciate the work that you put into this. We have expended quite a number of dollars out of the opioid settlement, which is not a, it's not gonna last forever. But we've been doing it. Along the way, we've had a lot of advice and or assistance from our health officer, Angela, who called me today and said she wasn't going to be able to be here this evening. I really feel like I need some more information from her to see how it fits in with the other programs that we're trying to support and trying to use this money for what it was designed for, which is to hopefully help the opioid crisis that we're all involved in. But I don't know about the other two commissioners, but I'd like to know some more information and look at it through the eyes of Angela Cox, because she's been our guiding source to this point. And that's what I'd like to hear from.
Joel, do you, off the top of your head, see hiccups that we're not looking at?
Broadly speaking, this would be appropriate use of the open. I mean, legal thing, yes, you could.
And again, I applaud you for wanting to do all of this and having already expended some funds to different projects, and we've seen what hiccups we've had and different delays. What I would like to see a little bit more information of the plan, more of a business plan type of thing, you know, revenues, expenditures, how you're going to maintain this, what future funding you're going to have. Just a little bit more business plan, for lack of a better word,
Yes.
of how all of this is going to work. I do know we have a need here in the county, but we've had a few hiccups that we've had to kind of hoo-hoo with the others, you know, and see how it's going to work, you know, not understanding some of it, how it was supposed to go. So in order to keep from having those hiccups, if we could get some more information, I think that Joe, that's kind of what you're talking about as well. Some additional information, more specific information. You know, more about the property, you know, you have talked to the, you know, the building inspector or the state fire marshals, or, you know, that these can be done, this can be done, so that we have a little bit of a better idea. That's, and I'm kind of reiterating exactly what Joe said. Steve?
Do you have, how are you staffing it?
Yes, so staffing is the same. Once we have the building, the funds to acquire the property, then through the state, we can apply for two different grants. One is a lady named Jean Viev. She used to work with the Muncie Mission. She's no longer with them, but the same funding that they're using for the Housing Coalition, we can apply for those two grants, which would pay for 2 to 3 members for staffing, for paid staffing. But then, like I said, we want to go to the churches and other members of the community to get the volunteers to reach out. So last year, as you're all aware, I was using my building over here, which downtown's not a good location. We'd like to move this location out of downtown, but using my building, we staffed it with sole volunteers, myself and others included, 24 hours a day. And we had no problem finding the volunteers that would staff it and keep it going. We have an excess of volunteers now that we can't use because we don't have the correct property and the funding to get it. And so once we get, and this goes a long way as well, once we have the property set up and the nonprofit, then we're able to file for additional grants from the Housing Coalition, from the state of Indiana, and other places that would help us fund this, as well as contract with the trustee's office and others.
I'm going to make a motion to table this until we, if you would get us more detailed information.
No problem.
So
Give me 10 days. I'll
And
have
it's
it
to
to you.
prevent some of the hiccups that we have seen with a couple of the other projects that we have funded. I mean, they're not grossly major hiccups, but they are hiccups that have delayed and could potentially change how they move forward. So, hindsight's always 20/20, and you learn from the ones before. So if we could just get more detailed information, what your business plan type.
Absolutely. I'll have it to you within the next 10 days to 14 days, business days. I'll bring it over and have some copies made for you guys. That'll show you our, like I said, preliminary figures and how we think we can fund this and what our costs would be.
Okay, so I will make the motion to table.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Motion passes 3-0.
You
Thank you,
say-
Travis.
10 days or so.
Yes, I'll have it. I'll bring it over to your guys' office and I'll give you all each copy. Fix this microphone.
All right, I will. I got a note. Thank you,
Thank you,
Travis.
guys.
Lisa?
Hello, I want to introduce Dusty Wicker. He's the account executive from CSI. He's going to explain to you what the Equity Protect fraud protection is.
Thank you, Lisa. Again, my name's Dusty Wicker. I'm with CSI. We are a Hoosier-based company out of Fishers. We work with Lisa's office. We're the land records vendor for them. We also have a long history with Henry County. We used to have your court system way back when Pat French was clerk the first time and worked with Debbie and Bobby, so it's lovely to see them as well. So like I mentioned, we are the land records vendor for Henry County. We're also in 48 other counties in Indiana. We are working with a new company called Equity Protect. They are a company based out of Nevada, and they have a patented property fraud prevention solution. So right now, what the recorder's office offers is a free service, and that is just a reactive measure. Okay, so something gets recorded against your name or your property, you're going to get an email saying somebody just recorded something in your name. It's then your duty to get an attorney if it was fraudulent and then pursue charges to get the property back in your name. This solution, it actually prevents it. So it is a subscription. It's a cost to the consumer, not a cost to the county. So the county pays nothing. It is, 100% up to the homeowner or the property owner if they want to take part in this program. On the second page here, I did go ahead and run the statistics, the overall statistics for Henry County. So 35% of the parcels are low risk. And that means most people probably don't want that property. Might have might have a mortgage on it. They still owe quite a bit of money, so people don't want it because they're not going to be able to sell it and steal it and make money off of it. Medium risk, you guys have 13% of your parcels. Medium high is 30% of your parcels, and high risk is only 22%. So Equity Protect does not go out and try and sell this to everyone. If you're low risk, you're medium risk, you likely don't need this protection. You would probably be fine with the free service that Lisa already has with DocsPop, which is another one of our partners. If you're medium high or you're high risk, that likely means that you could benefit from this. You could be targeted for property fraud. And so what that is usually people in those instances have no mortgage, so they own their property free and clear. They have a lot of equity in that home. Maybe it's a rental property. You might have multiple homes. Vacant land is a big thing. So this protection and prevention would prevent anybody from taking that over. The benefits of the county signing this agreement, this is actually available to anyone right now. Anybody in this room could go out tomorrow and sign up for this. The cost for it ends up being about $360 for the first year, and then $99 for each year thereafter. If the county signs the agreement, you get a 55% discount on the startup cost. So it goes down to $149 for the first year, and then $99 each year thereafter. They also, if you don't have the $99 to come up with it right away, you can also do a monthly plan. So they have a plan that basically fits anybody, you know, if you, any budget, kind of think of it as a streaming platform. So that would be like $12.95. The way this works, just so you guys know, what happens is the person that wants to take part in this, the first thing they do is they would go to a website that we set up for Lisa, for Henry County. They would put in their name and their address and they get their risk assessment score right away. So they find out immediately what score they're at. If they're low risk, they're going to recommend immediately free monitoring. So they also have a free monitoring program where they can take part in DocsPop that Lisa already has. And then if they decide that they want to be a subscribed member, they pick which plan they want, so the annual plan or the monthly plan. And then they go through a whole slew of questions to prove that they are the actual property owner. You know, I did mine just for fun. It asked me, you know, I bought a property in 2014 and it wanted to know who my lender was and then who it was sold to. So I think I went through about 30 questions to prove that I'm the real property owner. And then once that's all said and done and they verify everything, then they end up recording a voluntary lien against the person's property so that that gets picked up when a title search is done. And then the only way that that person can release that lien from their property is through a patented app that only the property owner has access to. Also, we do have a situation, Hendricks County. They have a situation right now where they have an instance of property fraud, but this one didn't go through a chain of title. It didn't go through a title plan. So this one came in across the counter. It met recording requirements, so the recorder was legally bound to record that document. Property got transferred, property got sold, person ran off with the money to Vegas. So this, in that instance, if they were a subscribed member, they would actually have, they call it a SMART policy, which is basically an insurance policy where they would pay to get that property back in the rightful property owner's name. Just a couple quick stats and then I will leave you guys alone. Property fraud is on the rise nationally. Indiana is pretty lucky so far. The Indiana Recorders Association did a property fraud awareness campaign earlier this year, went to 4 different sections of the state, and we only heard of 3 cases in Indiana that have been reported. One of those is the Hendricks County case. But overall, nationally, since 2011, when the FBI started reporting this, there has been a 6,134% increase in property fraud. So it is on the rise. In 2017, they had about 9,600 cases that were reported, resulting in a loss of $56 million. 2021, we jumped up to 11,500 cases, resulting in $350 million in losses. And then in 2022, they didn't have a total number of cases, but we jumped up to just under 397 million in losses. So it is unfortunately on the rise, and these fraudsters are getting smart. They're using fake notaries, making fake documents, getting fake IDs, and they're running off with some cash. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
So I'm reading here that you'll create a customized website. So will you do a direct, how will the citizens be made aware that they can do this?
Well, they're gonna provide us some marketing tools that we'll have. We'll also have a website. They'll have a link on the website that Joel, or.
Oh, that Jeff can, okay,
Jeff
link
can
on the
put
website,
On
okay.
our website, and we'll start putting it out on social media and stuff, and business cards in our office, and we can also start, he's gonna give us some flyers and stuff that we can start hanging up places. So,
Yeah, another thing we can do, and this, you know, we would never do this without Lisa's permission. We can actually send out a mailer if she wanted to. It would be in her name. We would just send it out on her behalf, send it to all the high-risk people, just letting them know that it's available. Hancock County was our pilot county. That's my home county. They just started in, I I think in May. And they are going to put it in their property tax statements, you know, so that it goes out with that, so that people, everybody who owns property is going to be getting that statement.
I have no other questions.
I have nothing further.
With that, I'll make the motion to approve, Equity Protect through the recorder's office. And Joel, you've reviewed this, I know. I've seen the emails that you've been.
My request, so I'm satisfied with it.
So I've made the motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the 2025 claims schedule.
Debbie, do you have anything to just, huh? Yep. Which is, this is a pretty standard. Yeah, same as it is every year. I'll make the motion to approve the 2025 claim schedule.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next on the agenda is the information on the dog attacks.
Do you have a different one?
Okay, we have Rock and Recovery sign in the yard.
So Rock and Recovery is a event that annual event that was started last year, and they requested permission to put a sign in the yard advertising their event in September. I don't remember exactly when it is, sometime in September. So I'll make the motion to approve.
You say they do this before?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Then we have the 2025 payroll schedule.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 payroll schedule.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Then item number 8. Under new business is the dog attacks.
Didn't realize this was gonna be a thing. I just wanted to, approach somebody, cause on July the 4th this year, I was bitten out at Hillsborough by a pit bull, breed. I think it was a mixed breed, not 100% sure.
Is it green?
Back. So I just want to kind of touch base because as of right now, I have not been made aware whether this dog has been vaccinated. So right now, I theoretically could be contracted with rabies that just hasn't shown itself yet, which is a 99% fatal, by the way. And as far as I know, nothing's happened to the owner. No fines, nothing. And according to you and Steve, we had a conversation previously, shortly after. It was supposed to have been held for, I think, 10 days, it says in the state law and the ordinance here, to see whether it's a vicious animal or not and whether it shows signs of rabies and so forth and so on and what have
So
you.
could you go through the timeline of?
So
I
July.
want
Uh-huh.
Mr. Harvey to hear the
Yes.
timeline.
Yes. So July the 4th, in the afternoon, roughly, let's see here. have the actual report here. It says last radio log was 17:25, so 5:30. So I had left roughly 4 PM to go out for a bike ride. I was training for the ride across Indiana, which has taken place. And so I was out just training, just going for a ride. I was planning on doing 40 or 50 miles that day prior to any festivities that were happening, so I could be safe, get off the road, all that good stuff. I went down Hillsborough Pike past the trail there, in the Wilbur Wright Trail. I went past that, down that hill, and then back up into Hillsborough. And I had been down this way before, and there's been a dog or two that would come up and sniff you. But this pit bull, actually, I was coming up the hill, didn't even think about it, looked up, and all of a sudden I see this dog eyeing me. And it starts coming at me. And it's too late for me to turn around. So I just start booking it to try and get past it and go on about my business. Well, it locked onto my right leg, and I don't know if I showed you the pictures or not, but 3 different puncture wounds, and you could see teeth marks on the actual leg. And so I went around that corner into oncoming traffic where there was a truck pulling a trailer coming my direction. Actually kind of saved me from the dog attack because it scattered the pack. There was a pack of 3, and apparently there was 5 at this residence. Only 3 had actually been out. And so after that, I immediately went, I don't know, maybe 1/10 to a quarter of a mile down the road, stopped in front of a couple people's houses, asked if a lady knew who owned these dogs. She said she didn't. She was a visitor from out of town. Okay, fine. So I immediately called 911, Sheriff's Department. They came out along with Animal Control, who actually was there first. Animal Control showed up first. And they stopped, took a look at my leg, talked to me, asked me, you know, blah, blah, blah. They said they'd been out here before for dog complaints. And so the sheriff shows up 5 to 10 minutes later, and he takes my statement, takes pictures, files the report, which I received a copy of, and said that he's been out here before for the same thing. So this is not the first attack that these dogs had had. So this is the second person right here that was bitten by these dogs. And so my fear, if something doesn't happen, not necessarily to this person, but to make maybe stricter ordinance or anything, is that a 10-year-old on a on a BMX bike or whatever comes up. Had I not been able to get away, I could have been mauled. I didn't have anything on me at the time. So now I carry protection. And so if they had got me down, they would have mauled me. And if I was an elderly person or a kid, I could be dead. And so I don't know what we can do about it. Something needs to be done.
So what was Animal Control's response when they came out?
So Animal Control told me that they would go up and talk to these people and see what they could find out about vaccinations. They said that they could not take the dogs without a court order. But right here in the law that you actually printed off for me, it says that they need to be confined within 24 hours. And that they basically have the right to do, and it doesn't say anything about a court order. So who is in the wrong here? Why did they not take the dog? Why did they not, like you had said, because there was apparently a case here recently, you said Middletown, I think, where you guys actually had to judge whether the dog was vicious or not. So why was this animal not taken into custody? Now, it does outline that it can be in the owner's premises, but it has to be in a cage that has actually 4 walls, padlocked, the whole 9 yards, which I very highly doubt that that person had done that. I have been out there prior, but not on a bicycle. But I haven't seen them out, so hopefully they've learned their lesson. But it takes 2 people to get bit by these dogs before they realize, and obviously nothing's been done to them. And I'm obviously not saying throw them in jail or whatever, but
So remind me, so animal control said they couldn't take them
they said they couldn't take them
Because-
without a court order.
without a court order?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm assuming it's a property thing, don't know 100%. But I actually went to, the animal shelter the day after on the 5th of July and asked them again, talked to them the whole 9 yards, and yet they said they couldn't do anything without a court order. Well, so I went to, urgent care there on Road 3, got antibiotics for the wound. The physician looked it over. Obviously, I did not receive a vaccination for rabies because that is only available at the hospital. And most times, obviously, animals that are domesticated don't generally carry even if they aren't vaccinated. So hopefully I'm in the clear, but, so I had to file a dog report there. That was, I believe, Saturday. I think Friday was 4th of July, so Saturday I went there, take care of that. So I ended up talking to the health department. Actually, I called, our district state representative, Corey, I believe his name is.
Court fiscal?
Okay, so I called his office on that following Monday while I was at work and got voicemail, whatever. His aide or whoever called me back and eventually got back with me, which was great because I didn't have any direction to go from. Said that I needed to file, apparently the doctor from urgent care hadn't filed the report yet with the health department. So I ended up doing my own legwork, talking to the health department, which they've been great in this whole thing. So kudos to them. But talked to the health department, finally got all the paperwork over. They said that, yes, they confirmed that I was the second one on this particular address to file a dog bite. And they said they were going to put in an order for the dogs to be picked up. And that I would hear back if anything ever got taken care of. Well, I still haven't heard back, but that's not on their end now. That's on whoever takes care of the court order to pick it up, which I am assuming is the Humane Society or Animal Control. I don't know for sure. I don't know if they receive orders. I don't know how all that works. But as of today, as far as I know, those dogs still, nothing's happened to them or the owner, which I don't really want anything to happen to them. I think the owner should be responsible for 100% of what happens. It was a public road. I was attacked by their dogs. And so that's a civil issue that I'm going to take care of later, but I would like to and I don't know where to go from here on how to do it, but come up with an ordinance of some sorts to maybe make stricter fines, things of that nature, to teach people that if they let their animal run and be free and it attacks somebody or kills somebody, that they are very responsible and there is a major issue with that. And it's more about public safety than anything. So I really don't want to see anybody die. I don't want to see anybody hurt.
I agree.
And I'm willing to donate any of my time to come in and help you figure out what we need to do.
I'm a little confused as to where anything obviously something got dropped or fell through the cracks.
It- It says in here that the health department or the authorities can issue fines or whatever. They can impound the animal.
Correct, right.
I think you probably need to follow up on that, follow, so see why. There's 2 years before this ordinance filed, certain dog site still, since this happened, less than a month. And I don't think there's any time limit on declaring dog, vicious dog. I don't think you have to make that declaration within 10 days of the act. So that may still be another option. Can be pursued. I will reach out to find out.
Yeah.
Like it's happened.
Right, right.
Okay, and I believe this is the second attack this year. I think the other attack happened this year. I don't know who that person was. I didn't get the name from that. The health department does know. So if you want to contact them, Anthony Corey and his nurses,
Mhm.
who I can't remember who the actual nurse is that takes care of the actual rabies, because there's a specific nurse for that. She knows who it is, I'm sure. I actually have her number if you guys need it, which I'm sure you don't. But, she said that, I believe it was the second one this year of the same dog. So,
So obviously something was missed or fell through the cracks or didn't
Yeah.
happen and I don't want that to happen again. I want to make sure that, I don't want you coming back and saying you lost a leg. We all know from the previous vicious hearing that I've got history with dog bites, so we'll let Mr. Harvey look at it and.
I appreciate it. I will keep in contact. You're free
Oh,
to email me.
absolutely.
I will email you. I think I already did, but I'm sure you guys are busy, got things to do.
Oh, no, that's
so-
perfectly fine. Email away.
But yeah, I will email just to keep in contact, make sure, because something needs to happen.
Yes.
Obviously, if this was in Newcastle, you
Mhm.
know,
And if-
hopefully
and
it
if
would
we
have been
need
taken
to-
care of, but
If
since
we need to
it's-
strengthen the ordinances or,
Yeah.
you know, absolutely, we will do so.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming in. I sure am sorry to hear about your story, but I'm glad you were strong enough to get away from the animal. And were you able to continue your training and
Oh, yeah. I finished. So,
there you go. Congratulations.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Item number 9 on the agenda is the business associate agreement.
With, these are pretty standard agreements. I know, Joel, I'm sure you've reviewed
I think
this.
we've done similar
Yeah,
agreements
we
like this
have.
both times. Business associate agreement. It's a HIPAA requirement because they will receive protection insurance claims, protect the health information, broker disclosure. Simply that, it's just that information to make policies purpose.
I have to sign business associates agreements with my business as well, since I do dental. So I will make the motion to approve the business associates contract as well as the broker compensation disclosure.
So you're doing both of them then?
Yeah. I guess I'll do them singularly. I'll pull back the second one. So I'll make the motion for the business associates contract agreement.
I will second that motion.
Bless you.
Motion's been made and seconded for the business associate agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Next, we have the broker compensation disclosure.
I'll make the motion to approve and we do this every year as well, the broker compensation disclosure.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Next item on the agenda is a resolution number 2024-08-26011. It's a resolution authorizing the expenditure of revenue received from the settlement of claims against the opioid manufacturers distributors.
So at last meeting and at the council meeting, we went ahead and approved the reimbursement of $1,350 for the cost of training for the crisis intervention team coordinators. We approved it and the council approved it to go ahead and move forward. And this is us just approving it within the ordinance itself or the resolution itself. So I'll make the motion to approve resolution 2024-08-26011.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Anyone from the public have anything to add? Rita, did you have anything for the park?
Update you guys where we're at on the
Would you please?
bill.
I overlooked you, even though I knew you were here early.
Okay, on the shelter house, it's on. I gotta lean into it. Okay, the shelter house is really close to being done. I was there today and they've got 3 new windows installed. Looks really nice. and the electricians was working on installing the lights on the outside and around it. And they plan on having a celebration that to finish it up and, you know, that it's finished and invite people and have a band and stuff there. And I think it's like October 19th. I'm sure that they will come out with it, you know, when they do, but the bathrooms ought to all be hooked up by Friday, they told me. And they was painting around the wood that they added on around the outside. They was working on that today too. The lights inside are installed and they've got ceiling fans that they put up, but they was leaning a little bit, so they took them back down and they fixed them so they could get them straightened up, and they have to reinstall them again. And on the lake, we did hire a contractor to work on it. It's a company out of Ohio. Can't remember what the name of that town is, and it's Jurgens. And they was here, Tuesday for a meeting and went over what they planned and stuff. And they would like to start September 9th. And they may bring some of their equipment between that next week some, but they probably won't start until after Labor Day.
How long do they anticipate? Any idea of knowing how long it'll take?
Well,
I know
and
it's gonna be kind of hard once they get down into the muck and mire.
yeah, if they don't run into a huge problem, they plan on having it done in 90 days. So that'd be what, around Thanksgiving, something like that. They're going to fence it all off, and the road, I don't know what you got with the small bridge. It's closed off now, and it's probably going to be closed off to traffic. We voted on repairing the bridge so it would be pedestrian only, or maybe, you know, like a golf
Bicycle
cart or
or-
something, you know, because there's no funds to rebuild the whole bridge for cars and stuff. But we got plans for a pedestrian bridge. Let's see, hopefully they told us that they have experience repairing, I don't know what you call it, the overflow that you open it up and close it. They have seen a lot of that. So once they get down there to it, why? They said they could probably repair it for us. But we also told them that it's probably about 90 years old, so don't know what we're going to get. They're going to have probably 10 trips a day for trucks, hauling them off. And they're going to have 5 trucks hauling, and 2 trips a day for each truck. We're going to have a area that people can observe from. So they'll be out of the construction way, but they can still watch. And we're going to get it roped off and stuff and put signs up so people can do that. And I think that's about it.
Sounds like you're moving forward with a lot of the plans.
I'm anxious to get that started now.
Oh, no kidding. I am hearing from a lot of citizens that they're in awe over the renovations of the large shelter house. They think it's
Oh.
turning out beautiful.
It really looks good, and I was surprised how good the floor looks. And the guy that's sanding it, he thought he was done, then he seen some spots where the sand made marks on the floor, and he said, I'm not gonna let that go. He said, I'll be back. He said, I'll take care of that, so, but it really looks good.
The compliments, it's looking really good.
Thank you, Rita. Appreciate it. Anybody else have anything to say? Randy? Well, if Randy doesn't have anything to say,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.